Hey, you ever been to Chancellor Park? That's where I live. My name is Tavin Dillard. I live in Chancellor Park. I mow lawns, mowing, edging, grass cutting legend. I sure am glad to join me here on this podcast. I want to let you know what's going on in my neck of the woods. Now, I started out years ago on the YouTubes and then the TikToks and the Instagrams now and the whatnots. I got the websites, the tavindillard.com, but right now, I want to clue you into what's happening in my neck of the woods on the Tavin Dillard podcast. You here? I'm here. I'm glad you joined me. Now I'm going to send it over to myself. This is like the pre-introduction, but let's get on to the real show today. I'm glad you joined me here. Bank, bank. Hey y'all guys, I'm Tavin Dillard, and I know right now, if you listen to this, then you listening to the Tavin Dillard podcast. Thanks for joining me today on this episode of the Tavin Dillard podcast. We about halfway through. If you listen to this on the day it come out, we halfway through the month of July. I hope it's been going good for you. You know, fireworks are still firing off in Chancellor Park, in the trailer park where I live, but it's been a great celebration for the independence of the United States of America this month. Happy about that. The show notes today, that's the area where, you can see what's going on and you want to check things out. I'm going to have the butter bacon 2024. There's a election year, there's campaign, and I'm campaigning for butter and bacon. Boy, that's a winning combo right there. Anyways, you can check out that shirt at the link in the show notes. Got some stuff coming up. Nothing much to announce specifically. I will say for National Bacon Day, which is at the very end of August, that week leading up, we got some bacon. We got some bacon news for you, and some bacon giveaways. So not necessarily just bacon, but bacon stuff. So anyhow, you can keep an ear to the ground on that. But we about a month or so out on that. Check the show notes today though for the shirts. I also got a butter for president shirt. I got a butter bacon like combo shirt. 2024 and a butter for president. So I'm gonna put both them shirts in the show notes today, and I will put a link to Tavin's bacon bag. Delightful. I know you probably hitting the water this summer, and if you're a no pro fisherman like me, the one thing that's guaranteed on the water, if you're out there on the water and you're trying to catch fish, but you're having a hard time because the way it works is that fish got a mind of their own, and they could be like, no thanks today, ain't interested. But still, you can have good snacks. So Tavin's bacon bag, that's snacking bacon. You're going to be happy you got that on the water with you. Now, you ain't got to be fishing to eat it. You could be out, you got somebody with a boat, and y'all trying to go tubing. You know, how they pull a tube behind the boat, or some folks water ski. Some folks just got a rope swing into the water. Some people at the city pool. Now, you can't let that food get too close to the edge of the pool at the city pool. Coach Hicks will blow the whistle on you. But there's all kind of places to snack. I ain't got to tell you where to snack at. You know as well as I do. There's plenty of places to snack wherever you at. So Tavin's bacon bag will be down there in the show notes today. And I've just been, folks send me stuff. Folks send me things, which I appreciate. I got, they'll send me maybe a hat for their business, or I got Christmas ornaments, here in the last month or two. One was a little bag of Funyun ornaments, a little bag of donut ornament. What else I get recently? Stuff like that. That could be anything. Folks, folks have sent me hot sauce they made before. Folks have sent me barbecue sauce. All kinds of awesome stuff I get to try out thanks to y'all guys. Well, I got a friend that reached out this last week, Dwayne Hess, and if you got the TikTok, he's at Banjo Man 411. So I guess you can guess what he do. He played the banjo. I like a good banjo. And he wrote a song. Now, if you ever listen to the Andy Griffith show, then you know that you recognize the tune that he sang the song to. But I can tell you, when y'all listen to the podcast, and he probably watches my videos too, since he's on the TikTok, like you know my town, Chancellor Park, you know what I'm into, and y'all listen to this song. I ain't gonna play it right now. I think we'll send it off at the end of the show today with Dwayne's little ditty that he wrote this week. But I think, or I don't know when he wrote it, but he sent it this past week. I think y'all will appreciate it too. I mean, you listen to it, you're like, boy, that's a feller that A, can play the banjo, and secondly, knows what's going on in Tavin's world. So, anyhow, thanks, Dwayne, for sending that in at BanjoMan411. I'll put Dwayne's TikTok, handle in the show notes today if you want to check out his banjo playing. But at the end of this episode today, I'm gonna send us off with that song that he wrote, and you can hear it for yourself, and let me know what you think. Let's see. So that butter bacon shirt, that I got, and the butter for president shirt, they both cool and they comfy. And with hot, humid weather, I don't know where it is where you're at, but boy, where I'm at, it gets sticky in the day and in the evening. It's cooling off a little bit sometimes in the nights, thankfully, because we got them softball games. And I got a softball update on Team Burger Shed today here in this podcast, but we ain't there yet. But them shirts, they great for picnics, barbecues, bike riding, family reunions, floating the river, county fairs, and more. And you probably got other things, the activities that would be great, to have a shirt that's got a place for your head and 2 armholes for your arms and, room for your shoulders to breathe and that kind of thing. So anyhow, you can check out all that in the show notes today. Team Burger Shed, like I said, had a game this week that I do want to get to. And I want to tell y'all, and I want to give you an update, and I want to let you know how our season's going, because we athletes. You know about that? We athletes. We out there exercising, not just for our health, but we want to win. We ain't playing around. Well, we are playing, and we enjoying it, and it's fun. But boys, it's a lot more fun to win. I'll tell you that. Did we win this week? Well, you just got to hang tight on that. But you do know we're 4-2 right now, heading into this week's game. Now I'm about to update y'all. So we was 4-2 before this week's game. That's 4 wins to 2 losses. Also, Mort Dwidell just did the summer inventory for his wife, Glenda Donna, her store, Uptown Gal. And this week they had their big summer sale. And that's kind of the news. This is where it's starting today, because this summer sale, they do their own advertising and word of mouth and whatever else they do. Little flyers on the counter at Burger Shed and Maggie's Flyers in town and Donut Goes and the Auto Parts Store and Coach Hicks Boxing Gym Thunder Punch. Punch yourself. Punch your way to great summer savings or something. I don't think they said that because they weren't promoting Thunder Punch, but they were promoting Day Store at Thunder Punch with them flyers. Don't matter no how. They had a big summer sale. Also sent out mailers. So that goes right to your mailbox if you know anything about that. And they did have flyers hung up in town at like Rickard's grocery store. I already told you Thunder Punch. It was down at the City Poo. I saw one hanging up. Early Bird Gets the Perm. Had them up there. And that's the place to go, because a lot of them gals up there, the same gals that getting their hair permed at Early Bird Gets the Perm that Gracie Dilroy runs. That's Chet Dilroy's wife, and her sister Delondra help her run it. Anyway, a lot of the gals that go up there to get their perms did are also the ones going to Uptown Gal to get them creased britches and everything they sell down there at the Uptown Gal. The Burger Shed, I told you, had them flyers, and more places. Seems like they pretty much got the word out all over the place, how they do that. So that's good on them, like that way. I guess it's kind of like Black Friday sale, if you ever read about them in the newspaper or you experienced one firsthand. It's kind of like a Black Friday sale without the early morning, and there's less fights. Maybe people are more relaxed around the summers than Christmas times. I don't know, but it wasn't crazy in that respect. I'm not telling you there wasn't no fights, but let me just tell you where the story begins today and what happened at Uptown Gal. Cheryl Grubbs and the junior cheerleaders performed outside of Uptown Gal. I done told you it's hot, so they're trying to keep as cool as they can, but they're also trying to provide like an environment where people would want to shop and celebrate And in their mind, junior cheerleaders, that's a slam dunk. That's the way to go to get this party started. It's hot out there, but they had a little tent thing and them misters that sprayed water. You know about them? You know, it ain't like somebody turning a water hose on you. It's just misting. It's just misting a little bit, but it's cool. Oh, and buddy, when it's hot outside, them little misters, boy, they cool you off. Boy, and the only other thing you need is like an ice cold Dr. Pepper under a mister. Boy, you living a life. Anyhow, they played music, them junior cheer gals, and they do a little cheer. Pretty nice to be cheered on while you're going to shop. You think about it. Go in there, spend some money, find some britches. You know, I don't know. I didn't write their cheers. I don't know exactly, but I'm just telling you, that's kind of a nice idea. Is like folks cheering you on to do something you like to do anyway. I don't shop at Uptown Gals. They ain't got nothing I want, but my Meemaw do like them creased britches up there. She turned a corner in the last couple years where she ain't only about them moo-moos. She mostly about them moo-moos, but not everything. Now, this whole summer sale at Uptown Gal sounds like one big old win, except that it kind of became what they call the perfect storm. You know about them? How a storm's perfect because everything come together at the same time. Only thing is, when you think of the word perfect, you think of something good. But if you think of a storm, you might be thinking of a hole getting tore in the side of your trailer and half your kitchen getting spread upwards 4 miles across the countryside like that away. And this perfect storm, I'm talking about the Uptown Gal summer sale, it ain't a good thing. Okay, this perfect storm, it ain't like, oh, a bag of money fell in front of Uptown Gal just as I was going in for the summer sale, and it was plenty to buy everything I wanted. That's the perfect storm. No, I'm telling you, the perfect storm at Uptown Gal's summer sale this week, was not a good thing. Let me give you the ingredients in this recipe for disaster. Are you good with that? You are? All right, here's the recipe. You know how you make like chocolate chip cookies and they say add a little this, add a little that, stir it like this, put it on a plate or a pan or whatever they call them things. You put them in the oven, a cookie sheet, and then anyways, you know about recipes. I'm pretty sure I don't have to explain what a recipe is. So here's the ingredients for a recipe for disaster. Mabel Childress. That's Brody Childress' granny. Brody's married to Brandy Lynn. They got a little boy, BW, another kiddo, but Mabel is his granny. And Brandy Lynn make a beautiful three-bean salad. She enter it in the county fair every year. I don't remember the last time she came in anything less than first. Blue ribbon all over the place. I mean, it's a real good flavor. You know, now I guess three-bean salad's acquired taste. You know, maybe you don't like cold beans like that away. And that vinegar or whatever they have, but I'm telling you, it's pretty refreshing. When it's as hot as it has been, boy, that's a great little summer salad. Well, that ain't what I'm talking about anyhow right now. I'm telling you, Mabel Childress is part of the ingredients for the recipe for disaster. Who else? My Meemaw, Cheryl Grubb's doggy Jalapeno, and Millie Rick's pet possum, Possum Keith. Okay? You got them ingredients for disaster? I mean, if you and I have any history together, I don't have to say anything else. You'll be like, oh yeah, Mabel Childress and Meemaw, the Jalapeno and Possum Keith. What good could come from that, right? So you got the ingredients for the recipe for disaster. Let's see how it all mixed together, shall we? So when you start adding animals and pets to a summer sales, you know something's gonna go wrong. It's probably mid-morning. So, you know, we talking like 10 a.m.s, 10 in the morning. And even though she could easily drive herself, Meemaw asked me to take her to the cell because if there's a lot of folks there, she could get out of the car and go right inside so she ain't got to circle around try to find parking. Then I just find a parking spot like that away. Now, we did the her 911 Buick Regal. You know I got that Ford Ranger now. It's running pretty good. I've been getting some miles on it, not too far. You know, I did start using it more with the old lawnmower in the back. Boy, that's a game changer. When you've been toting your mower for years in town with a bike, it really is. Boy, you get spoiled putting it back in the back of a Ford Ranger. Now, the tailgate's a little clickety. Like, it'll drop on me while I'm driving, so I got to be careful because I don't want that mower to roll out. But all in all, it's going good. But that ain't what I took to Meemaw to the Uptown gal summer sale in. I took her 91 Buick Regal. And I'm driving it, and she in the shotgun, the passenger side, so she can get out when she want to, in case she see a deal. She gonna just stop, drop, and roll out the car, I guess, and then hop to her feet and hustle over to that deal. So that's how it is. We get there, and I just drop her off, which is probably my mistake because I wasn't with her, but I just didn't think of it all this all the way through. And you may be thinking, come on, Tabin, she's a full-grown lady anyhow. You ain't got to be with her the whole time. And that's the truth. I ain't got to be with my Meemaw the whole time at the summer sale. In fact, there's only really like one time that I really need to be with her. And that's anytime her and Mabel Childress is in the same location. So while I'm parking, little do I know that Mabel and Meemaw have done gone and seen each other. They done made the eye contact. Mabel knows Meemaw's there, Meemaw knows Mabel's there, and boy, that's oil and water right there. That's oil and water. It don't mix. I'm telling you right now, it don't mix. Mabel pointed down the street and said, your line starts down there. So Mabel, right out the gate, didn't have to say nothing mean, didn't have to say nothing at all, but she chose to say something, she chose to say something mean, and she chose to say it right at my Meemaw, like there was no question who Mabel was talking to. She just pointed down the street and said, your line starts down there. Like, you better walk down the street and get in a big old long line because you ain't welcome here right now. And all the cool kids, we having fun over here kind of thing. She didn't say that. What she said was your line starts down there, but there's a lot you can insinuate from something like that. And then my Meemaw just told her, don't start something you ain't ready to finish. And Meemaw, she don't like to mess around like that anyway. So, I mean, she gets straight to the point. But the thing about this is that she had her mind, I mean, you got some money involved here. She gonna spend her money on a good deal, and she looking for that perfect deal. She ain't got time for Mabel Childress to be throwing, interference on this summer sale like she's doing. So Meemaw just told her straight up, which I do applaud Meemaw for speaking with her mouth instead of her fist first. And she did just tell Mabel, don't you start something you ain't ready to finish. And then Meemaw opens the front door to Uptown gal to go in there and shop that sale. Just inside the front door is a little table of hot chocolate chip cookies that Mort's wife made for customers to take on the way out. You can have one of them hot chocolate chip cookies on the way out. Them's the rules that Donna Glenda set down for the chocolate chip giveaway at the Uptown Gals summer sale. They don't want you taking them on the way in because you might get chocolate on them clothes. They really goodly sized cookies, and they hot, and them chocolate chips is melting, so they can be real messy. A good cookie can be real messy, and that ain't a bad thing. But it is a bad thing if you grab a messy cookie right when you're about to go handle all this women's clothes that's hanging up on racks at their summer sale in town like Gadaway. So Meemaw sees them cookies, but decides she wants to see the kind of sale they got on them those crease britches when something hits Meemaw's leg. So while Meemaw is looking at these cookies, she passed on grabbing one on the way in, which is right because that's against the rules. You got to be leaving to get one. And she got this idea about, I want to see what kind of sale they run on new crease britches. Something hit her leg. Something hit Meemaw's leg inside a Uptown gal. And she tumbled toward a display. So it wasn't just like a little, something just kind of grazed my leg. It's like something ran into Meemaw hard enough to knock her off balance. She stumbled toward a display of pleated khaki summer shorts. So my Meemaw is hurtling toward, losing her balance in a display of pleated khaki summer shorts. What in the world hit her leg, you might be asking? What's going to hit her leg so hard to take her out so bad that she about to take down a rack of shorts? Well, Jalapeno, that's Cheryl and Shane Grubb's doggy. That doggy's a mess. Jalapeno has tore into Uptown gal, jumped up, got a chocolate chip cookie in his mouth, and another one fell on the floor, so Jalapeno got that one too. Meemaw didn't fall over completely because she's able to lean against that display of the pleated khaki summer shorts. Glenda Dwidell's hollering, get that dog out of my store. So you can already hear, if I told you 4 of the ingredients into the recipe of disaster, you got 2 of them right there. Jalapeno and my Meemaw, and now my Meemaw's reacting to Jalapeno. Jalapeno's 2 chocolate chip cookies in, pretty pumped that there's still a table full of them, so it jumps up again, and Glenda Donner runs some sort of offensive line block on that doggy before it can get to the table. Old Jalapeno bounced up like a 20-pound kid on a teeter-totter. Glenda's locked in thought. I mean, this is her livelihood, so she ain't gonna let this doggy ruin Uptown Gal's summer sale, but it's starting to look like that doggy might. Now Glenda's carrying Jalapeno outside the front door. So Glenda got hands on Jalapeno and said, nope, not today. You gotta be physically removed from this store, kind of thing. And Meemaw's recovering over there from stumbling into the display of pleated khaki summer shorts. She's okay. Them shorts is okay, but they a mess. They ain't folded no more. But it was bound to happen at some point during the summer sale. It just happened real quick. While Glenda is carrying Jalapeno out now, Mabel Childress shuffles in and makes a beeline to that cookie table and starts shoveling them into a handbag. Now remember, you can take one of these. Well, Mabel has started just taking them all, and she's shoveling them, steady shoveling them into a handbag. Meemaw sees this and she's furious. You know how when you want something but you going about it the right way, and then you see somebody cutting corners and you want to see some justice? Like you ain't supposed to take that many. You're supposed to take one. Well, Meemaw wanted a cookie too, but she was going to wait till she checked out. Like I said, that's how it's supposed to go. So out of instinct, Meemaw throws the closest thing to her, which happens to be a pair of pleated khaki summer shorts. They wasn't on no hangers, or else they might have hurt worse when they got throwed. Meemaw used the shorts to basically start the fight, and then she used an arm bar to finish it. In about 17 seconds, Meemaw had Mabel face down on the ground with her left shoulder pinned to her ear, and Meemaw got her locked up in an arm bar. She wasn't trying to pin her for a 3 count, but probably could have turned her over and done it. Mabel was hollering, "You gonna break my arm?" And Meemaw said, "You gonna break a summer sale? You give up?" And Mabel said, "I give." Meemaw lets Mabel up, and she stand back. Mabel makes it to her feet and grabs her handbag. Meemaw grabs her handbag and dumps it on the table. A bunch of hot, broken cookies hit the table. About that time, Glenda walks by and sees it and kind of figures out what's happening, shaking her head, just says, "Just take them, Mabel." Like Meemaw, exposed Mabel's thievery by dumping out Mabel's handbag, and then Donna Glenda just didn't have the stomach for it. Like, just take the cookies if that's what if you're gonna be like that, then be like that, kind of thing. Mabel scoots him back in to that bag with her right hand because that left arm's hurting from that arm bar. Mabel says, "I ain't shopping here." And Meemaw says, "We know, you was stealing." Meemaw could probably get a security job at Uptown Gal or just about anywhere in town if she wanted to. Glenda picks up them pleated khaki summer shorts that Meemaw had thrown and takes them back to the display. Meanwhile, outside, Cheryl Grubbs is holding Jalapeno like a baby because she ain't got a leash and that dog's crazy. And she had told Glenda she's going to bring a few dozen donuts to make up for them cookies Jalapeno messed up. And now that's looking like a real good offer since Mabel took a goodly amount of cookies too. About that time, Millie Rick shows up with Possum Keith. That's her possum that she tells everybody ain't her possum, but she got him in like a little cart, and he wearing a red, white, and blue tank top, a little possum tank top. Come on, Millie. You trying to tell me that he ain't your pet? You telling me Possum Keith went to his closet and dressed himself in a tank top today? Well, Jalapeno sees Possum Keith and Possum Keith sees Jalapeno. Possum Keith hisses and hops out of that baby carriage possum cart thing, and Jalapeno dives out of Cheryl's arms, and now it's a possum doggy standoff in the front of Uptown Gal summer sale. I mean, you couldn't write a better recipe for how to ruin a summer sale. Have a doggy run into the store and knock Meemaw into a display of pleated khaki summer shorts, then have that doggy attack the cookie table, then have Meemaw and Mabel fight by the cookie table, and have an animal standoff right outside the front door. Who stands around for all this? Who wouldn't just go home and give up on this summer sale? I'll tell you who. Gals who want summer fashions at discount prices. That's who. Jalapeno ran up to Possum Keith for the attack. Jalapeno wanted to bite that possum's tail, but Keith kept turning and facing that doggy. Keith was getting dizzy. Millie's wild. She don't care. She walks over there, reaches down, grabs Possum Keith by the tail. Then Jalapeno jumps up and tries to nip at Possum Keith's nose. Tried to nip his nose. Millie hollered, "Stop it!" right to Keith's face. Cheryl Grubbs' hair's all frazzled and in her face. She scoops up Jalapeno in her arms and says, "I don't know why I even brought you to town." Well, really, Cheryl? Everybody else is wondering the same thing. So you can imagine the junior cheer team stuff was done. because it did the summer sale more good to have Cheryl and Jalapeno gone than to have Cheryl coaching the junior cheer team to cartwheel under a tent while folks shop a summer sale inside Uptown Gal. Meemaw ended up with a pair of light green creased breeches. Apparently she got a real good deal because those wasn't selling, and Glenda wanted to get rid of them. And by the time Meemaw was going to check out, Cheryl was back without Jalapeno and with 3 dozen donuts. So Meemaw got a fresh donut. She went for the standard glaze twist, and she brought me back a standard chocolate glaze. She's a patriot. I think overall, if you just looked at the numbers and not the drama, the Uptown Gal summer sale was a success. I do think Glenda will rethink the hot chocolate chip cookie table next time. You know, you live and learn. We still got a softball game to go. And let me put it to you like this. Team Burger Shed was feeling pretty good this week. I don't know exactly what it was, but they pitched that ball, and we made all kind of contact. And Cheryl Grubbs was feeling so bad about the mess, you know, Jalapeno made it to summer sale, that she brought donuts to the concession stand. But Mary Beth Tucker said nobody's going to buy any of our other food if we giving away donuts. So they decided to sell the donuts and, of course, all the other stuff. Hot dogs, soda pop, snow cones, Skittles, that kind of thing. You could have been, the whole thing could have been way worse than it was. You know, of course, it would have been hard to one-up the Uptown Gal Summer Sale Circus, but I ain't saying it ain't possible at that concession stand. I think the real surprise of the whole night is that Myron Curtis hit 2 homers for Team Burger Shed. One of them had a man on base. I hit 2 singles and a double, stole a base in about the 5th inning. Noticed there's some donuts in the dugout. I guess donuts, if you think about it, they really do help smooth out them rough moments. I mean, because Cheryl Grubbs, she really is trying to help. She was. And actually, these donuts Mary Beth brought over from the concession stand, I guess they had sold quite a few and decided to give us some because it's all profit since they got them for free. Ain't nothing wrong with a little extra strength in our haunches, I'll tell you that. We played them boys from the auto parts store, and I ain't saying they all work at the auto parts store, but that's who sponsors them. Like we don't all work at Burger Shed, but that's who sponsors us. I ain't got to tell you that or probably explain that to you at all, but anyhow, it's done now. And so is our game. Team Burger Shed won 16 runs to 12 runs, and we are now 5-2 on the season. Won 5 games, lost 2 times. Kind of hitting our summer stride pretty hard right about now. Another big week ahead. I'm sure glad that you joined me here today to hear all that's going on with me in my neck of the woods. I appreciate it, y'all guys. Check them show notes. I mentioned them 2 shirts, the Butter Bacon shirt, the Butter for President, Tavin's Bacon Bag. I'll put Dwayne's TikTok handle if you want to check out his banjer, because he helped me out too. Making a little song this week. He's the one that's going to take us out at the end of the episode here in a little bit. But I appreciate you checking them show notes, leaving a rating and a comment on whatever platform you listen to the podcast on. Could be Spotify, could be Apple Podcasts, somewhere else, I don't know. Meemaw and her gals, the gal pals, you know, hers, they planning a little road trip. So I should have an update next week on how that goes. They leaving tonight. I better scoot for now too, though. But I really do hope y'all have a great week, and I appreciate you joining me on the Tavin Dillard podcast. And hey, if you ain't a possum in a red, white, and blue tank top that got taken to Uptown Gal summer sale and then pulled up by your tail while Jalapeno tried to take a nip at your nose this week, you having a pretty good week. Me, I'm Tavin Dillard. This is the Tavin Dillard podcast. Till next time, y'all guys, we'll see you later. Dwayne, take us out.
Tavin is a good old boy, he's got a story to tell. Tavin will mow your grass and make it look so well. Now Tavin goes to donut goals when in town he comes, getting strength for his haunches to cannonball for fun. Tavin, ramping up the holler, Tavin, trying to make a dollar, Tavin, give him a holler, he'll mow your grass today. Delma dropped a frittler Oh, come on, Delma. Now Tavin's at the burger shed. He ordered a number 3. Bacon double cheeseburger, curly fries you'll see. Tavin ramping up the holler. Tavin trying to make $1. Tavin, give him a holler, he'll mow your grass today.